Audio test, video test. Let's not drop frames. Test, test. Alright, thanks very much for being patient with me. I know I've got at least one on stream. Hopefully more will join us soon. So tonight we're going to start with Griever versus Kalen Hart in a best of 3. Doing a little text chatting in game here, so bear with me. It looks like we're getting the map vetoes and the map selections set first. So Kalen Hart said there's more pressure on me to cast the game than there is for him to play. So anything I can do to help. Alright, so it looks like the first map is going to be on King Sejong Station, the second map is going to be Overgrowth, and the third map will be Catalina. So I apologize for the dead air time here. I'm hoping that once we start to play off of replays that won't be the issue and that everything will be all set for us. So it looks like we're about to start, so here we go into game 1 on King Sejong Station between Kalen Hart and Griever. Have a TVP matchup. This is actually, I think, the most balanced matchup in the entire game. Terran versus Protoss. I think both players have the same, or both races really have the same likelihood to cause damage to each other, to hold off pressure. So I think there's a lot going for this matchup. So here we go on King Sejong Station. Spawning in the upper left portion of the map is our blue Protoss player, Griever. And spawning down here in the bottom right hand portion of King Sejong Station is our red Terran player, Kalen Hart. Now I have had a chance to play on a team with Kalen Hart. We did some achievement mining, if we'll call it, against AI, some elite AI, with various races, and he plays pretty solid in all races. Terran is obviously his best matchup, and according to Kalen Hart, I'm a dork as well. So hopefully the stream doesn't validate that, but I'm sure it will. So nothing going on too much early on. So a couple of things we have on the broadcast that I want to bring to your attention while we've got a little bit of dead time. Thank you to the creator of the Game Heart modification. It's an observer mod that you can create games with. Puts these nice little logos right back here in the middle line. You'll see them on both of them if you select the teams. Actually, I think there's a, yep, and there they are right down here in the player lines as well. Obviously, if you had people on different teams, you could set different logos. It'll tell us that we have a best of 3, what map we're playing on, what the series score is, and various statistics down here. So this will scroll through and let us know what our mineral count is, what our it'll scroll through and show workers and army supply. So standard gateway opening for Griever. And Kalen getting the wall off. Got 2 SCVs down here on the wall getting the wall off. Barracks just complete right on time. One other thing you'll notice on this modification, we'll point some stuff out as we go along here in this first game. The buildings will show what is producing with these little overlays. So we've got an SCV producing here from the command center. Second barracks going down for Kalen Hart. And the Cyber Core going down, pretty standard opener for Protoss here at this point in the game. Griever's floating some minerals. I think he's going to come down here and drop a natural, so he'll get his second base down first. Kalen sees the whole thing. Game 1 in a best of 3 between the blue Protoss Griever and the red Terran Kalenhart. First unit out is a Marauder for Kalenhart, so we'll see where this leads. A third barracks going down, so it looks like we're going barracks heavy to start for our red Terran player. And concussive shells on the way right away to support those Marauders. Another tech lab coming down on the other barracks, you can see by the production tab right down here. So it looks like it's going to be Marauder heavy play. Mothership core out to deny this scout over here. One stalker coming out for Griever to come in behind this Mothership core opener. Not a whole lot going on. You can see here's another part of our layout. We've got the concussive shells upgrades going to finish up here in about 7 seconds. So this will give you, the viewers, a good idea of what we're working with and who's doing what, even if I'm not on top of it to see it. So we've got a Marine and a couple of Marauders. We've got a reactor coming down on this barracks. So 3 racks to start for Kalenhart, dealing with a little bit of a supply block. Robo coming down now, and another gateway coming in for... No, that's Warp Gate, excuse me, that's Warp Gate upgrade coming in that I'm seeing here on the production tab. So Robo opener looks like for Griever. So we'll see how that does against the Marauder heavy composition that Kalenhart's going in with. Warp Gate's just about finished up. Probe out here on the map with no pylons to utilize that Warp Gate. We've got these decals here on the map as well, and you'll see these on each map. One there, and then there's the tournament graphic here. So you'll see those, and the players can't see those. So to them, this just looks like a normal game on King Sejong Station. They can't scout and see what upgrades are producing or what. So the probe sees this push out here. They can't see what units are producing. So the probe's going to see this very, very Marauder heavy composition, and so we'll see what he does in response. Gets an Immortal out, drops 2 more gateways. One of them just finishes, the other one's about to finish. Combat shields coming in for the Terran player. So as he continues to rally troops across the map, the observer is going to hang out and see what's going on. So here comes the push. Push into the mineral line. 2 workers, 3 workers lost. Photon overcharge activated. Marauders don't care about no stinking photon overcharge. Oh, good force fields. Traps half of the army in. He's going to lose a sentry. And they're going to go to work on the Immortal and get nowhere, and those shields will regenerate very fast. Photon overcharge still activated. A little bit of economic damage, but I don't know that the loss of units and his own economy doesn't make that a swap. So yeah, Protoss still up 33 workers now to 27 for the Terran player. Combat shields done for Terran. Griever's alright. He's getting his second base saturated nicely. He's got everything's full saturation on the first base. Perfect saturation on the first base. Getting the second base saturated now. This army should have no problem holding this push off. Photon overcharge goes back down on the Nexus. Kalen can't do anything with this. Second command center underway at the 9-minute 30-second mark for Kalenhart. Still rallying troops across the map. Still producing Marauders and Marines 2 at a time each. Photon overcharge still doing work. He's going to have to come back and regroup, or he's going to lose very quickly. He's going to have to. He's dealing with just a small supply disadvantage, but the worker is the big story. 38 workers for Griever, 29 for Kalenhart. If he continues to let the Protoss run away with the economy, he's going to have a tough time. Kalen is here in game number 1. The observer's hanging out, seeing the whole thing. Yep, sees all the troops rallying back here. Kalen's catching back up in supply, but not worker supply. It's all army supply, all army all the time. Rallying some troops up here, keeping a few of them back at home. Griever's working on his upgrades, his ground upgrades. Got the warp prism coming down now. And I believe that icon is extended thermal lance for Colossus, so we should see some Colossus coming out here as well to deal with his bio-heavy army. Continues to pump out of 3 racks. Got the factory down. Getting the starport down for some medevac support. First engineering bay is going to go down for Kalen Hart as well. Extended thermal lance finishing up. Here comes the warp prism coming across the map. See where he's got this going and what he's going to do with it. Nothing loaded in it though. Usually you'll see Protoss load up some zealots and then warp in a few more once we get down here. So Terran's pushing back out this way, and here comes the warp prism play in the corner of the map. Oh, sees it right away, pulls the SCVs. All the SCVs rallying down to, I don't know where, right down here to do no work. Seems like he's forgot about it, Griever has, so Kalen's rallying his entire army back to take care of not a whole lot of pressure. I would have liked to see him keep some units out on the map. Third base going down for Griever. Still no sign of a third for Kalen Hart rather. Still no sign of a third for Griever. He's going to run this 2-base play, I think, for all that it's worth. Took out the warp prism. No damage was done with the warp prism whatsoever. And he goes back to mining his third. So lost some, just a little harass, we'll call it. No units to harass with, but just the threat of it caused some production delays, some mining delays from Kalen Hart. There's the observer for Griever sitting right on top of the entire army for Kalen. So he knows what's going on. 2 medevacs coming out on the field. I'm sure the observer's going to see it. Scan goes down into main. Sees the army. Doesn't know if there's anything else on the map though. Hallucinated Phoenix. Going to come take a look and sees there's no 4th. He's going to come over here and see the 3rd just finishing up for Kalen Hart. So he's going to see the 3rd, but an idle SCV and no workers going on. And meanwhile, back on the north side of the map, Griever's going to drop his 3rd base, protect it with his army. One scouting Marine takes one for the team. Marine in the middle of the map, keeping an eye out for the main lane on this map. 3 Colossus on the map right now, to go along with 2 Immortals, some Stalkers. So this could do some work if he decides to push with it. Supplies are real close. 132 for Kalen Hart, 127 for Griever. Workers are about even, 50 to 48 in favor of the Terran. Blinks on the way. 2 more Colossus in production. One just finishes. Here he is right here. Blinks on the way. Rallying some SCVs down to the 3rd with the Planetary Fortress. Good saturation. Mining out of the main here. Gets a scout off. Got another barracks going down, bring us to a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barracks. A couple of idle medevacs over here. Doesn't have his rally set on that. Upgrades favor Protoss. 1-1 upgrades on the Protoss versus 1-0 on the Terran. That observer is seeing everything. He sees the Vikings, which 3 Vikings with 4 Colossus on the field. He shouldn't be too scared of that. Blink Stalkers will take care of that, no problem, if either of these guys ever decide to do anything. Just some spotting Marines out on the map for Terran. 4th base going down now at the 7 o'clock position for Kalen Hart. Blink's just about to finish up for Griever. Getting saturation on the 3rd. Pulled some from the natural to get there. Need to resaturate that. Running out of minerals here at the main. +1 armor about to finish up. Here's a good scan going down. Sees the army starting to move out. Sees that it's very stalker heavy. Saw some Colossus. I don't know if he saw all of them. Griever saw the army move, so he's coming over to defend the 3rd. This Marine's going to see it. We're going to get a pylon going down here right next to the graphic. Here comes the army being moved, commanded into trouble. And take out a few stalkers over here. Sees the pylon going down, cleans that up, but here comes the engagement. Vikings are coming in, but they might get a Colossus, but there are 6 Colossus on the field. He's going to get one of them, maybe. Nope, all of the Vikings are gone, and all of the Colossus are still on the field. Supply melting for Kalen Hart, up to a 45, almost 50 supply lead now for Griever. Just didn't have enough to take on that big army. And +2 ground weapons about to finish up for our Protoss player as well. So there, I don't believe, will be much more going on in this match. However, stranger things have happened. Griever has to know he's in command. He's got to know he's in a good spot right now. Blinks under to take out that command center, and there's GG for Kalen. So Griever takes game one rather, in this best of 3 series between Protoss and Terran. I am 12-7. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. That was game 1 of 4 best of 3 series that we have on the docket for today. So game 2 is going to be in Overgrowth. And we'll jump right in here if the players are ready to do that. We'll let them chat it up a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and get the game started. Okay, so Griever's asking for a 5-minute break, so we're going to go on a quick break before we start game 2. Let the guys gather and compose themselves, so enjoy this commercial break. Okay, so it looks like the players are ready to get going again. So we're going to jump into game 2 of this best of 3. Alright, spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of King Sejong Station is our blue Protoss player, up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. Is a blue Protoss, Griever. And in the upper right of Overgrowth, I think I said King Sejong Station before, in the upper right of Overgrowth, trailing 1-0 in a best of 3 in this PVT matchup, is our Red Terran player, Kalen Hart. Okay, looks like we have standard similar openings to what we had in the last game. Our Protoss player starting gateway first. Terran player walling off with the barracks, getting his early gas.
Game paused.
Alright, sorry streamers, I'm trying to figure out how to message Griever in-game with this match. All right, sit tight, guys. We're going to go to a quick break. All right, guys, thank you very much for that information. Glad we were able to sort that out.
Game resumed.
So here we go. Back at it. Resuming game 2 of this best of 3 between Griever and Kalenhart. So thank you, streamers, for bringing that to my attention. Everybody seems good with what's going on. And here we go. Same opening as game 1 for Griever. with the Cybercore coming after the gateway. We'll see what tech path he decides to go at this point, because this is where he went Robo in the last game. Kalen going a little more standard with the factory immediately after the barracks. Warp gate technology being researched right away off of one gateway. I'd like to see him add a couple more gateways if that's the case. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go gateway tech here. Lines up well for either charge or blink research right off the bat. Wouldn't surprise me to see him go with like a mini gate, a 4-gate blink all in. Kalen going Marauder heavy again, starting with the first 2 units as Marauders. Widow Mine coming up out of the factory. So for those of you that didn't know, there is a test map right now out there where Blizzard is testing the Widow Mine, believing it might be a little bit overpowered in this matchup. Right now it does 40 damage to units, plus an additional 40 bonus damage to shielded units. And the test map is going to reduce that shield damage to 20, making them a little less valuable for what some called was a little bit of overpowered harassment of mineral lines. So this probe's going to see that right there. Going to see the Widow Mine. And the Marauders are on move command, walk right past it. I don't know if Kalen even saw it happen. So more Marauders and mines coming out of Kalen. Another gateway in production. So bring it to a total of 4. So there's the 4 gate that we thought. Blink is currently being researched. A couple of Stalkers. We'll see if they'll be able to hold off these Marauders. 3rd Marauder coming into the mix. Another Widow Mine. I thought this Widow Mine buried up here. Nope, he went right there. So that, yeah, took the shot on that. So there's the Photon Overcharge. The Marauders are going to hang out. And now Kalen knows that the Photon Overcharge lasts 60 seconds. So see him probably skirt around this little dotted line for a little while. Kalen Hart working on a little bit of a supply block at the moment. And no supply structures in production. Another barracks coming down. And a CC coming down at the natural. Forward pylon over here in what may be the 3rd. Griever knows he's boxed in. He sees the Widow Mines around his area. Blinking in 4 Stalkers, or warping in 4 Stalkers at a time, rather. Kalen's able to reach this gateway outside of the Photon Overcharge, which just expired. We'll see if he knows. Yep, he moves forward. Blink is just about to finish up. 10 seconds. He's got 10 seconds to do some work against this before a little more mobility. So Mothership Core maybe going to try to bait out some shots. Oh, big shots with the Widow Mines against the Stalkers. Took all their shields. See what these Marauders can do with shieldless Stalkers at this point. They blink away. Going to lose one. He's going to lose all 3 of them. But there's not a whole lot left. So all of the army now gone. 4 more blinking in, warping in. And they should be able to take care of these Marauders, but they still have these mines to deal with. And no detection. So the mines are going to go off again, and that one's going to hurt, and that one's going to hurt. Down to 2, and not a whole lot of shields left on those. Mothership Core coming out to do a little harass. Widow Mines are acting strong at this point. Now we're starting to warp in the Stalkers up front off this forward pylon that I don't believe... Nope, Kalen knows nothing about that. So, it's in a good spot. This could be trouble for our Terran player here in game number 2. Kalen's got a little bit of a supply advantage. Mothership Core's in a great place to blink up onto the high ground, up into the main base, just like that. And he's going to do work in the main. And here go the Stalkers. And here go the Stalkers. SCV's being evacuated. Blinks into the SCV line. 2 workers down. 4 now. 5 workers down. Meanwhile, Widow Mine's doing work down here in the mineral line of our Protoss player Griever. So both players trading some supply. Both players down to 17 workers. 10 SCVs lost to 8 probes in that exchange. I think Kalen will stabilize here once he can get some of these units out on the field. producing 4 at a time. More mine shots here. 11 workers now for Griever. He's got to do damage with this attack. And here's another Widow Mine. Ouch. On some Stalkers. So these Widow Mines are doing some work against this Blink Stalker play. And that one's going to go off and take out another Stalker. 22 army supply for Griever for 14. I wonder if Kalen really knows how much damage he's done to the mineral line, to the production of Griever. Because once he loses this army, there's not a whole lot left. His CC does go down. Oh, and Kalen GG's. I don't know if he knew how good of a shape he was in right now. That's unfortunate. So the 2-0 victory goes to our Protoss player Griever. In the first of as many as 4 right now, best of 3s that we have lined up. So thank you to you guys who alerted me to the stream issue. I wish these guys good games real quick. I'm going to mute my mic for a minute, but we're going to get set up for series number 2 here momentarily. Alright guys, thank you so much for your patience. Alright, so I'm going to load up some replays. So the next match that I have set up is for Wraithseer versus Simply 7. So that's the next match we're going to watch here in just a moment, as soon as I can find out where I've saved these replays to. There they are. Alright, so we are going to have a Protoss versus Terran matchup here. Slow down. Protoss versus Terran. I'm going to restart this. Hold on just a second. I got a little punchy with my replay there. So give me just a second. I'm going to jump back here and find where I saved the replay. So this is game 1 of Protoss Wraithseer, gold Protoss player, versus our silver Terran, Simply 7. He's been playing Protoss for a while up to this point, and has since switched to Terran for this matchup. So we'll get to see how he does. So here in the upper left corner of King's Sejong Station, in the first game of best of 3, is our green Protoss player, the gold Wraithseer. And in the bottom right hand corner of King Sejong Station, our newly switched to Terran player in the pink trunks is Simply 7. So we'll get to see another Terran versus Protoss matchup here, which I love this matchup. I said it in game 1. If you weren't here for that, I think Terran versus Protoss is the most balanced matchup in the game. So nothing too cheeky out of these two guys here to start the match. Gateway's going to go down first for our Protoss. And there goes the probe. I meant to follow you. There you go. So we got gas going down for both players. Barracks just about to finish up for Simply 7. No relation to 12-7, your wonderful caster tonight. I've got to compliment myself because I don't think I deserve anybody else to be. So it looks like the wall is going to get there in time. Yep, the wall is getting there just in time for him to be able to see what's going on. But by this point in the match, there's really not a whole lot anyway. Gas timing would be the one thing to see, and he's just now putting workers in it. Cybercore going down for Wraithseer, so pretty standard opening. First Zealot comes out in production. Simply 7 starting with the Reaper. See if we can get a little work done on the probe line, or at the very least see what's going on. And he's got his SCV, he's going to build his command center next, so economic opening for our Terran player Simply 7. Hi to everyone. Thanks for joining in and streaming. I love that there are people out there, especially people that aren't members of the clan. This is a clan tournament. The Older Gamers clan. That's what you see on these everybody's clan tags in this tournament. It's the Older Gamers is a clan for 25-year-old and older players. So if you are on the stream and are 25 and over and are not a member of the Older Gamers, please stop by TOGSC2.com for more information. But at the very least, hang out, watch a while. I am nothing special when it comes to a streamer. Just a member of a clan doing what I can to help spread a little bit of fun. So the Reaper's going to see everything here. You're going to see the Robo in production. Going to see the double gas. Going to get a probe. Not going to get the probe. He's going to get chased off. But he saw everything, so it wasn't a total loss. Command Center just finishing up for Simply 7 here at the Natural. Worker counts 25-20 in favor of our Protoss player. Getting a little oversaturated at the main. I'd like to see him drop a... Oh, there is the Natural just now going down, just as I say it. You would think I played Protoss, which I don't. I'm a Zerg player, so if I have a little bit of Zerg bias on these streams, number one, I think... No, I'm not the only Zerg player that's going to be on these streams, but if I have a little Zerg bias, it's because I'm a Zerg player. But again, I love this matchup. I think this is the best matchup in the game. I think it's the most entertaining from a streamer standpoint, and from a balance standpoint. I just think there's a lot that goes on in these, so I think this is great for the stream and for StarCraft. Looks like we've got 3 barracks now for Simply 7. We've got the reactor finishing up on the second one, so 2 reactors and a tech lab for the barracks. And we've got, what do we have going on here? Another reactor going down on the factory. So Simply 7's pumping out the units. 28-28 in the worker count. So nothing too exciting or too crazy going on right now. First Robo unit, the Immortal, in production for Race Seer at the moment. Comes the Observer to see exactly what's going on. He'll probably see all these units rally down here, mostly Marines, a couple Marauders. Won't see anything else yet. Got a starport in production right now. The Observer's going to see everything going on. He's going to see the 4 Marines pop, well, 2 Marines, and then 2 more here in just a few seconds. Looks like the engineering bay going down to start upgrades. Back top side, we're on 3 warp gates with no forward pylons, so the warp gate doesn't do us a whole lot of good right now for the Protoss player. But we've got units streaming down. We're hiding the Immortal up here. I like this right here. Hide it a little bit. He knows there's a Reaper out there somewhere. We'll try to hide it as much as he can. Observer's going to go see what he can see. A little light on the mineral saturation on both bases for our Terran player. But still pumping out units. And just as I say that, the only thing we have in production is a medevac. Second engineering bay down for Simply 7. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to do some quick drop on this. Got some stalkers down here to hold it off if he does decide to push a little bit. Here comes a Zealot to check out what's going on. Extended thermal lance in production now for Race here. Looks like he's going to go to Colossus play with the Observer seeing the bio army that's here. 1 medevac out here. No other ones in production at the moment. 1-1 upgrades are on the way, as are the... What are these things called? The shields for Marines. I used to play Terran, and I could tell you what it was, but I can't right now because I'm on the spot. But it's the upgrade for the Marines. Combat Shield, that's the one. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all night with fine, top-notch quality streaming of StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. We're in Game 1 of this best of 3 between Race Seer and Simply 7 in the Older Gamers 1v1 tournament. Scans go down, see all the units that are there, don't see any production buildings, so he doesn't know exactly what's back here. All he has seen is when the Robo was warping in, so he hasn't seen the other gateways. The double forge in the back working on upgrades. Upgrades about to finish up for both players, as you can see here on the right hand side of the screen. 3 medevacs to support this, and no Colossus on the field yet. First one is the first one just finished, just in time, so that could be the difference maker if he decided to push, which he's not. Combat Shield's going to finish up here shortly. Simply 7 floating a lot of minerals, almost 2,000 minerals in the bank right now. I'd like to see him spend that a little bit more. He's got 3 barracks, going to drop a 4th and a 5th barracks at the front, so committing heavily to the bio play. So if Wraithseer continues on with the Colossus play, there should be no problem holding off what is planned from Simply 7 on this push, or any subsequent push for that matter. So Extended Thermal Lance has been completed. Doing a little bit of work on this, on the Gateway Army, but losing a lot to the Colossus. Gonna walk right into the Photon Overcharge and have to back off with some of it intact. Not much, and actually the chasing army should clean up most of this. So, I'd like to see him pick up in the medevacs and boost away. 1-1 completed now for Wraithseer. So, approaching 2,800 minerals in the bank for Simply 7. Again, we need to... You can see for those gold and platinum members of the older gamers that are Terran, reach out to Simply 7 and show him how to spend his minerals. And that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. We're not here to criticize or berate anybody. This is a lot of fun within the clan, and I hope everybody has fun with it. Everybody participating, and everybody watching here on stream. Thank you for doing so. So Wraithseer continuing to build his army, going charge for the Zealots in production. Looks like 2-2's also on the way for the Gateway units. 59 army supply to 50 for the Protoss player. Second Colossus is on the map. Third one in production at the moment. A handful of units streaming across the map. Siege tank in place, but Wraithseer sees the whole thing with the Observer. Third base going down now for the Protoss player. 2-2 upgrades started now for our Terran player. So Protoss, with addition to having a little bit stronger army composition compared to what our Terran player has. Looks like we got a medevac that's loaded up with some units. No, just kidding. We're going to drop him. Oh, loaded up the tank. Okay, so he's going to try to drop this tank in the mineral line over here. And the Observer saw the whole thing. There's the Stalkers to push it away. He needs to drop it anyway. Oh, and he lost it. Oh, he lost the tank. That's unfortunate. Good hold, good vision by Wraithseer with that Observer to hold that off. +2 upgrades about to finish up for Protoss. +3 upgrades will be about 10 seconds behind that. And this army is just going to melt to this composition that our Protoss player has. No units left on the map right now. 2-2's finished up for Protoss to the 1-1 for Terran. Still about 15-20 seconds left on the upgrades for Terran, so I think if Wraithseer knew how good he was right now, he'd just push across the map. So vehicle weapons about to finish up, +1 for Wraithseer. Blink and Storm now underway for Wraithseer. So not showing any signs of backing off this bio production. Observer not seeing a third base go down yet. He's got to think that there's really no transition game possible at this point. So Scan sees a handful of units. He's got to know that the army's on the map. 2-2 just now finishing up for the Terran player, but I don't think it's going to be enough against this composition. 93 army supply to 59 now for the Terran. I think the next engagement's going to decide it. There's not enough here for our Terran player Simply 7 to hold. Not with 3 Colossus. No Viking support. Chargelot's going to come in here and take stuff out. 2 Vikings on the field, but that's not going to do much, even with just a handful of Stalkers in the composition for Wraithseer. Units rallying back for Simply 7. Is he going to take a third base? 3-3 upgrades now underway for our 2-base Terran. Storm is just now finishing up. I don't know that I've seen any... Oh, there's 2 Templars on the map. Where are they? There they are. Gathering up enough energy for Storm. Should be ready to go here before too long. 55 probes to 48 SCVs on the map, so simply 7 where I think any time would be a good time to put down a third base and start saturating it and start spending that money, or at the very least start producing some more production buildings. I just don't know that he's going to have enough come this next big push. 5 High Templar on the field now. This just keeps looking more and more grim. Blink is completed now for Protoss, so upgrade advantage, tech advantage, composition advantage for Protoss. Just a matter of time before we see the end of this one, I think. Concussive shells for the Marauders now completed, but again, against this composition, I just don't know that there's going to be enough there. Scans by Simply 7, see nothing on the back door, nothing up front. Third base now halfway done for Simply 7. I think both players just a little bit of unsure of where the other one's at, though. Ray Seer has pretty good map vision at the moment, with the Observer checking this out. The Observer here in the middle, seeing anything to push out, doesn't see anything. So Simply 7 content to hang back here. +2 vehicle weapons, about halfway done. 3-3 for Bio, forthcoming. More gateway units coming out. But only 3 medevacs on the field. I'd like to see some more medevacs out here. Definitely like to see some more Vikings. All over the field. Forward pylons going down now for Simply 7. It's just a matter of time before he pushes. 3-3 finishing up now for our Terran player. Is that going to be the cue for him to push into his likely demise? Scan back here, sees a pylon and an observer and nothing more. He's got to know that the army's on the map right here in the middle of it. Here comes the push around the side. He's going to miss these pylons up on the high ground. Zealots coming through to do a little bit of harass, and I think this is going to do quite a bit of work. He's going to push right into this army in the middle of the map. Storms are more than ready. Does he see it? He sees a couple of Marines. Yeah, he's got to know that it's there. So here come the fireworks. Oh, and units, we're losing SCVs in the mineral line. Big storms coming down on the entire army. Vikings doing work on these Colossus, but storms are just wrecking the army. Tank set up in a good position, though. I'm actually quite surprised that this went down the way it did. 13 SCVs and counting being destroyed over here at the third base. Third base is gone. 13 SCVs lost. That hurts. 57 to 41, the worker supply. So 3-3 upgrades finished up for both on the gateway units and also the bio for both players. +2 attack for the tanks and the Vikings. Simply 7's going to come down here and try to rebuild, but hello, there's a Zealot waiting. He's going to flex. No, he's going to go, he's going to attack the, there he goes, he's going to take out the SCV. And then he's going to destroy what's left of the base. Is he going to save it? Is he going to cancel it? 54, 43, there he cancels it. Marine's going to come and clean this up. Both players rebuilding their armies at the moment. More SCVs getting taken out. Oh, DTs. There's the scan goes down. Cleans up the 3 DTs. SCVs are all out of minerals to mine over here. They're all out of minerals to mine over here. There is no other mining, no other possible place for him to mine from. He's going to try to put down a third again for the third time. Really needs a fourth and maybe even a fifth. 105 army supply to 83 for Terran. So Griever's rebuilt. He's taken a fourth, so he's going to be up 4 bases to 2. I'd love to see Simply 7 load up into these medevacs and just bring them in here and take out all kinds of tech. 2 stalkers waiting for the parade, but this is about destroying a wall and coming in the back door. Do work on this natural. 1 Colossus goes down. The second one should go down. Tank's sieging up. Gonna do work. Second Colossus goes down. 2 more in play. Tanks are here. Charge lots are getting on top of him. Splash damage is gonna kill the tanks. He's gonna get dealt friendly fire and kill it. And that's the end of it. Nothing left. Simply 7 goes down. Wraith Seer takes game 1 of this best of 3 series. Well, color me surprised. I thought that would go a little bit quicker than it did. Be that as it may. I think it was a very good series. I think both players played well. And I think that we need to jump into game 2. So we'll go ahead and jump straight in. Protoss versus Terran, game 2 in this best of 3. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Overgrowth. I'm sensing a theme here with Overgrowth and King Sejong Station being the first games in both of the best of 3s that we've casted today. But in the bottom left-hand corner of Overgrowth, trailing 0-1 in this best of 3 is our Terran player. From the Older Gamers clan, it is Simply 7. And in the upper right portion of Overgrowth, spawning as the green Protoss player, up 1-0, looking to close this out in 2 straight. Here on Overgrowth is our green Protoss player, the Older Gamers Wraith Seer. Now I apologize, Wraith Seer. I think you were on stream if I had to guess correctly. And I know you're one of the newer members of the Older Gamers, a newer old guy. A newer old gamer or something. I don't know a whole lot about you or your style of play, so I think we're learning a lot about you today. Game 1 was a solid game. I think it could have been finished out a little bit sooner, but it got the job done, so who am I to say? I have Zerg bias, so I'm going to complain about everything that's not Zerg. So similar openings from both players. Early gases. Barracks first, and of course barracks first. I guess you could go engineering bay first, or CC first. Barracks and gateway coming out for both players. What's this little guy doing? He's looking for something. He's looking for proxies. He's looking for 2 racks floating out on the map. It's not there, it's back here. Reaper first again for Simply 7. The wall's finished up, so poor little probe's not going to get a scout off again. First Zealot underway for Wraith Seer. Looks like Simply 7's going to drop the command center again. Reaper is on the map, but so is the Zealot. Mothership core out on this one? No. Reaper might be able to get a little bit done with the Zealot. Stalker coming out second. Stalker will be done before the Reaper gets there, or just in time, so I don't know that this will do a whole lot of economic damage. Might get a probe. Well, not from there, he's not. So that takes care of that. Reactor going down on the first barracks. Two more racks going down for Simply 7. Nope, just kidding. Factory next. You just wanted to psych us all out for the stream. Make me look bad. I don't appreciate that. So the Robo goes down for race here. So again, looks like similar openings for both. Second gateway coming down a little bit earlier this time. Natural's just about finished up for Simply 7. 2 more Marines coming out. Where's that Reaper? There he is. Back there getting a scout on. I don't think he... Nope, no losses, so he didn't get any kills on that. And he's going to head back home. Looks like it's time for Wraith Seer to take his natural. And standard 1-1-1 build out of the Terran player. 2 more Marines and 2 more right behind it. So again, looking Marine heavy. Warp Gate just about finished up for Wraith Seer. I'd like to see a pylon over here to take advantage of that. He had a probe out on the map somewhere. And the Reaper goes down. First blood. Sorry, I don't have one of those little cool graphics that some of these casters do. I am very, very small time. And I appreciate Atticus for putting this tournament together and asking me to observe and stream these games. I will do my best to stream as many as I can. I have 4 best of 3s lined up for this evening. With any more that might play, I think there are halves of both of the other teams that haven't played yet. At least one of each of them online at the moment, or on stream. So I think this observer's getting a really good scout off. I think that we might be able to get all 6 done. Maybe. We'll see. Marine heavy. Nothing but Marines. Cloak Banshee coming out now. Do we have any detection over here yet? I do not see any. I don't see a forge. No forge down yet, so yeah, this is going to be a problem. This Banshee should do some work. Or just sit right there. This rally point should be way over there. Yeah, go, because by the time you get there, then Cloak will be done. Don't wait for Cloak to be done, Terrans. Pro tip of the day. Cloak first. Go first and wait for Cloak to be done. And then once Cloak is done, then Cloak. But ideally, you want your Banshee to arrive before or as your Cloak is finished. So you could already be in here doing work. So cloaking before coming in. And he's going after the pylon. Nope, let's get in there and do some work on the mineral line. Here we go. Here we go. Let's count them up. 1 probe. 2 probes. 3 probes. And 4 probes. Okay, now come over here. No. We'll work on the Nexus. Here's the observer. And some stalkers, and that'll be the end of that. So 4 probes, got a little work done. Still a little bit of a supply lead, about 6 supply for Wraith Seer at the moment. Nothing but Marines camping out over here. I'd like to see some upgrade structures. I'd like to see some support. Oh, I see a supply block. There's our problem. 62 of 62 with nothing in production for supply. So that's going to hurt him for a little while. Wraith Seer, meanwhile, has some freed up supply and should continue to produce. There goes the forge. Combat shields on the way. 2 more supply depots coming. A 3rd one queued up over here. Back at the Protoss base, building up army. I'd love to give you guys some action instead of just clicking around looking at bases all the time. What do we got going on over here? Checking for a 3rd. Scan goes down at the same time to see what's in the natural. Gets a pretty good scan on the army composition. But not a whole lot else. All the production facilities over here. First Colossus on the way. Extended Thermal Lance going down for an upgrade. Looks very similar to last game. Observer seeing everything down here. There it is. Just seeing a tank. I thought he had a little more vision than that. So, scan coming down here, so he sees a little bit more of what's going on, but I don't think he saw the robo. I did see the robo. Yep, there it is. He saw the other gateway coming down. Second forge going down, so upgrades are going to be a priority for Wraithseer. Three reactor barracks with Marines. Got some Marauder production coming out. I'd like to see some medevacs. A drop play would be nice. $20 supply lead for our Protoss player at the moment. And content to build. Wraithseer is being pretty active on the map with this forward observer, making sure that nothing's getting by him. This Zealot's going to go check and see if there's anything else going on. But I got news. Call me Walter Cronkite. There is not a whole lot else going on. Oh, what do we got down here? What do we got down here? That's a starport. Where is... There it is. There's the fusion core. 1, 2, 3 starports in a fusion core, boys and girls. Who can tell me what that means? Raise your hands. Be polite. Battle cruiser operational. We have any battle cruiser production on the way yet? There's the first one. Need a tech lab over here. There's the second one. Still building up the army. There's not a whole lot here that's going to hurt battle cruisers. I see some stalkers and sentry. One lonely sentry. No, there's another sentry back there. Oh, there's another. 3 sentries. I think I need to get new glasses. Saturation on the natural here for Wraithseer suggests we should have a third. We're 15 minutes in. I think both players should have a third. I'm thinking about a fourth. There's the third going down for Simply just finishing up. Now let's get some workers over there. 46 workers for Terran, 52 for Protoss. Storm again on the way. So this looks very much like a carbon copy of the previous. Oh, great scans, see the whole world. Couple of battle cruisers on the field. 3 more in production. This will be fun. Here goes the world. Gonna bring tanks with him? Gonna bring tanks with him too. Scan goes down, doesn't see an observer. And then turns around. Push. Only 10 supply difference now. 6 supply difference. It was much greater than that. These battle cruisers sure do eat up supply. Lots of Marines in production. 6 Marines in production as well. More battle cruisers in production. Gonna need some supply depots in production soon. But yeah, only 5 supply difference. So this could go either way. Starting to get this third base saturated in mining. Forward pylons here and here for our Protoss. And here comes the biomass. And it stops. Third base very much saturated. Plus 2 ground weapons finishing up here for Protoss. So 2-2 for Protoss. +1 vehicle weapons for Simply 7. Scans going down, seeing the army, seeing the Templars. Gold base being taken now, not a bad idea. Scanning himself to make sure there's no observers to see what's going on. 30 stalkers, that could do some work on this. Here comes the observer to see what's going on. Oh, and he scans it and kills it. But not before seeing all of those battle cruisers. Go see what you can see. No medevacs with this, so this bio is going to be where it's going to be. Scanning the third, not seeing a whole lot there to deter him. And here come the cavalry. Let's see what these battle cruisers are going to do. Not a whole lot. No, they're just getting melted. There they go. The stalkers are doing work. 96 supply. 80 supply lead almost for Wraiths here at this point. 2 lonely battle cruisers heading back, and that's GG. So that was 2 big armies coming together in a very one-sided match, and that's what upgrades will do for you. You can see 2 upgrades were completed on those stalkers. The one shield had just finished up on the battle cruisers, and there just wasn't a whole lot there to hold off the storms and the Colossus and all the area damage that Wraithseer had at his disposal. So, great games from you guys, Simply 7 and Wraithseer. Congratulations to Wraithseer for moving on to the quarterfinals in this tournament, 14-player tournament. So, I'm going to take a quick break and update the brackets, and we'll get the next match ready to go. Sit tight. Alright guys, thank you so much for your patience. I am back. I'm going to broadcast the third of at least fourth best of three tonight between a Platinum Zerg player, Psychosis, and his Gold but ex-Platinum opponent, Frantic Death. So let me get the first one queued up here and on the screen for you, and we'll get started. So we have here in the bottom left side of Overgrowth. Anybody sensing a trend here? Overgrowth being played in every single match. Great map, balanced map, and I'll talk a little more about that in a second. But not after I finish introducing our orange Terran player. This is Frantic Death. And in the upper right hand corner of Overgrowth, spawning as our pink Zerg player, performing the extractor trick to get the one extra drone early on in the match. This is Psychosis. So a little news about Overgrowth. I was saying I had some news for you. I'll go ahead and share it with you now. So Blizzard recently announced their Season 1 2015 map pool. And their overall goal is to cycle through maps and, ones that have been around the longest to, cycle them out and get new maps in. So you'll see 3 to 4 new maps come in and 3 to 4 old maps go out any given season. And usually maps don't stick around for any longer than 2 or 3 seasons. So because Overgrowth was a map that had been around for a while, Blizzard was taking it out of the latter pool, and there was a little backlash because Foxtrot Labs, which is vetoed in just about every pro match, and I want to say there's a stat out there somewhere that says it's the most vetoed map of all the maps last season. They kept it in, but took Overgrowth out. So there was a lot of pushback, and I give a lot of credit to Blizzard for listening to the community and made a change before the season started to, in fact, leave Overgrowth in the map pool and remove Foxtrot Labs. So if you haven't seen the map pool, the full Season 1 ladder map pool is available at on Blizzard's website at battle.net. Just go to the StarCraft page and you'll see it from there. So the natural is just about finished up here for Frantic Death, and the Overlord sees the whole thing. So Command Center first, actually, and I was hovering over it while I was talking, but Command Center first is a very risky play against Zerg. But he followed it up right up with the barracks. About 4 minutes in, the barracks is still out, so the first Marines will be on the map well before speed on Zerg links could be finished, speed links could be finished, or any other aggression could come. So when done right, it's a safe opener against Zerg, but a lot of people would call it very risky because there's not a lot to defend if Zerg does come with heavy pressure. Bunker goes down, the wall gets finished off, the one Marine's going to get loaded in there. So now we've got some permanent defense that'll be able to hold off any early link pressure, which we don't have. What we do have is a very early Roach Warren finished up, and the 7 roaches popped in less than 5 minutes. So this is the 7 roach rush build, where you rush to get 7 roaches and then you macro behind it. So you should see the second base goes down for Psychosis. You should see him start to go back to drone production and Overlord production. And this is designed to punish a greedy Terran player, which I would consider Command Center first a very greedy build. So let's see what kind of work this does. Here they come. 4 Marines loaded into the bunker. Another barracks going down. Psychosis can see this with his Overlord. Roaches are going to start doing work on the bunker. Here come all the SCVs to repair. and try to keep this bunker alive as much as we can. So one roach is already down. Second roach about to go down. Killing off all the SCVs. Second roach is down. Third roach taking damage. Trying to micro it back. Loses the third roach. Still going to work on the SCVs and on the bunker. The bunker should go down. He's going to go around it. He's going to go right around the bunker. Run the mules out of there. 3 roaches of the 7 left, but this, for all intents and purposes, is a hold. 7 units lost for Frantic Death, 351 resources. That includes all the repair resources. 400 resources lost for Psychosis. That includes the roaches that he lost, plus the 6 minerals for the extractor trick earlier. Widowmine goes down, takes out the roach, down to 2 roaches. These Marines are going to clean everything up. And when the dust settles, we've got Psychosis at 33 supply to Frantic Death at 30. Worker count is 28 to 22, 27 to 22, because I think we have a building in production. Yeah, we've got some static defense going down. We've got a spore and a spine, and a spore and a spine. So static defense while macroing up. A couple of slowlings out here on the map. Speed is researching about halfway through. And we should settle into a pretty decent standard Terran versus Zerg matchup. More Marines out on the field. Widowmines joining the party. 2 more barracks in production here. 3rd command center also in production for Frantic Death. Getting the 2nd base back saturated. Still just on 1 gas, which when you're pumping out Marines, don't need a whole lot of gas. The wall-ins coming in for Psychosis. See a lot of Zerg players doing this now, walling off their buildings. Usually you'd see like an Evo here and an Evo here and a Roach Warren and a Spine, and you have a little gap here. But once you get in, you're pretty wide open. By putting the building here, the Baneling Nest, the player has to go all the way around to get up into the main with his army. So you got the Spine here to help out, and just creates this big choke, this big bottleneck right in here that makes it difficult to pressure through. Still a little undersaturated at the main, but the natural's getting saturated very nicely. Some mules down there to help out. Frantic Death's up about 15 supply right now. Worker supplies 35 apiece, so this actually bodes real well for Frantic Death. Having bigger army supply and even with Zerg on worker count. 3rd base about halfway finished up now for Psychosis. 1-1 also about halfway finished up. Melee 1-1. So here come the Lings. Speed is finished on the Zerglings. Here comes one to see what's going on over here. He parks it just out of range of where the command center is looking to land. So unless he moves that, it's going to land. And what we got going on over here? Some Lings and a Marine. Here comes the push for Terran. Terran's up a good amount. Almost 20 supply. 20 supply now. Over 20 supply. Lead for the Terran. So Psychosis is in a little bit of a spot right now. 43 probes to 38 drones, to 38 SCVs. Gonna lose an Overlord right there. That's gonna supply block Psychosis, who's already about to be 30 supply down at this point. So good work by Frantic Death to hold off that early push, to take advantage of the greedy build, and to really start pumping out units. So this is looks pretty one-sided at this point for Frantic Death. Over 30 supply lead as Psychosis works to saturate his 3rd. 13 drones on each mineral line in the main and the natural, so still a little room for work there. The Banelings could be the great equalizer. 30 supply lead still stands for Frantic Death. Got a siege tank joining the Terran army at this point. 20 Zerglings coming out for our Zerg player. to get the speed upgrade to finish up on the Banelings. Still holding about a 30 supply lead is our Terran player. Going to clean up some creep over here. Here comes some Banelings. Going to get some hits off. Yep, took out most of the Marines. So those are actually pretty effective Baneling hits. Still 14 Marauders on the map, however. And he's going to circle around here. Gotta think that the third base is pretty well saturated. Muta's on the map now for Psychosis. Has Frantic Death seen him yet? Now he just sees him. So, gonna stem forward onto creep. Wouldn't take a fight on creep, not with all that rolling at you. Banelings are getting mowed down a little bit. Decent splits for Frantic Death, but the supply lead's down to 12. Gonna lose the tank, still at 12. Mutas now. Not a whole lot to deal with Mutas with all those Marauders. So just as we saw Frantic Death hold, now we see Psychosis hold a little bit as well. Marines now in production for Frantic Death. Still clinging now to a 20 supply lead. (47 to 51) workers in advantage for Psychosis. So not a huge lead, and certainly not what you'd like to see at the 15-minute mark of a match against a Terran player. 4 more barracks in production for Frantic Death right here in the front, so production's about to skyrocket as the third base gets saturated. Muta's flanking around to these full medevacs. Oh no. Supply now 117 to 111, and not a whole lot of Marines in that mix. This is going to be bad news for the Terran player, who's now only holds a 3 supply lead. Muta's a great equalizer against the Marauder heavy army. One Widow Mine out here. See if you can try to bait him to it. No, but there's the Marine ball to push back just a little bit. So we've got ourselves a match, boys and girls. Got the Terran army chasing the Zerg army back. They're going to miss each other. Both of them there. We go. Now the Zerg army is going to see where Frantic Death is at. Can't really engage with all those Marines there, though. 4th base is going down for both players at about the same time. Lots of Mutas and Zerglings. The Zergling takes... Oh, and here come the Banelings. Oh, watch out, Marines. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is not going to be good for Terran. And Zerg, for the first time in a long time, takes a pretty sizable lead. About a 40 supply lead right now for our Zerg player. Just couldn't deal with those Mutas and a ton of Banelings that got great hits on those Marines. So a lot of mind gaming and countering here. Zerg sees Marauders and builds Mutas. Terran sees Mutas and builds Marines. Zerg sees Marines and builds Banelings. Got a Thor on the way now for Frantic Death to try to help deal with some of the mess. 2-2 finishing up now for Frantic Death as well. So the Thor to deal with the Mutas. 1 won't be enough, certainly. A couple of patrolling Vikings over here. But that is a lot of Mutas. 26 Mutas on the map right now. 1 Thor and 30 Zerglings to handle it. A couple of Widow Mines. And Frantic Death is spending everything he's got. Muta Ball is going to come and deny this 4th base for Terran. Zerglings running around. Zerglings and banelings being produced. Gotta think there's a response coming, and here comes the response. SCVs are here with nowhere to mine to, so they're going to have to take the long walk back. And here come the mutas to clean them back up. That is a lot of SCVs going down. 49 SCVs to 64. Drones. 3 melee upgrades on the way. Adrenal glands upgrade on the way for the Zerglings, and an Ultra Cavern about to be finished up. So this is what I would call approaching the end game in this ZVT matchup, and it looks like Psychosis has a margin of lead. More Thors on the map now. 3 Ultras in production. That'll do work. Oh, here comes. Oh, these Marines are going to walk into Banelings. And there's a big Baneling hit. Going to take out one of the Thors. The mutas are going to do work on the other one. A couple more Banelings rolling through. And yet stabilizes somewhat. Good split by the Terran player. Try to get out of the way of some of that stuff. Got a floating barracks, which is not a bad idea at this point. Get a scout off, and with the minerals that you have right now, with what you're bringing in, I don't mind this. You really can't produce out of that barracks anyway with the money that you have, so see what's going on. I'm alright with that. So here's our ground army. A couple of Widow Mines here for our Terran player. Try to bait these mutas back into him. Is he going to fall for it? Got 2 Overseers, so he'll at least be able to see him and pick him off if he gets to him in time. And here come the cavalry. Stutter stepping, good micro by our Terran player, but he's 50 supply down. This is not looking good. Scan goes down, sees the whole army, the ground and the air army. 191 supply now for Psychosis to 143 for Frantic Death. Mutas are going to pick off what little scraps they can get. They're going to try to go do some harass now, maybe. This army should take care of what's over here. Now we'll see what the mutas are going to do. Just going to hang out. Frantic Death still frantically trying to produce units to frantically hold on to life at this point in the game. 30 supply. Psychosis is maxed out. 16 more Zerglings on the way. Drones coming over to saturate this 4th base. Main base is mined out. Natural still has plenty of minerals. What do we got going on over here? Muta's doing work. Muta's doing all the work. And they get out. So hampers some of the production of Frantic Death. Now supply blocked at 177. Here come everybody. Infestors in the mix now with those Banelings. This could get ugly real quick. Stims back to try to avoid. Fungal misses. Oh, there's a big fungal, and the Banelings and the Ultras are just cleaning it up. Ultras are going to do work at this point. 100 supply lead for Psychosis. It's all over but the GG, and there it is. GG from Frantic Death. Psychosis takes game 1 in this best of 3. So before I get into game 2, I'm seeing on stream that a couple of people are talking about some lag. Are you still seeing lag on your end? Yeah, it looks like I might be dropping a good amount of frames here. Before I get into map 2 of this best of 3, I'm going to play with some settings a little bit. So sit tight, watch a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in a second. Were you guys getting that same lag earlier in the night? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get back into the game now. I've played with some settings a little bit to hopefully take a little bit of load off of my GPU. I think that might be where some of the lag is coming from. So we'll get back into the game here and see what game 2 looks like. So game 2 of this matchup, again, Psychosis took game 1 on Overgrowth, playing game 2 on King Sejong Station. So we have some folks around the Older Gamers clan that